All right, so we're going to cover a little bit about the NFL with the top 5 running backs throughout the league, so the
Yeah.
entire league. Number one, I
This
really
is technically based off of
yes,
2023, just so people know.
I don't think this can be. I can't be anybody else.
It's Christian
So
McCaffrey is the
yeah,
best, might be the best player in football.
guy's insane.
He's
You talk
unreal.
about Debo, how he plays like the wide receiver position really well. He
Doesn't
can
even
also do
matter.
running back. Christian McCaffrey plays what
He can
the
play.
running
He
back
could play
behind
offensive line
so
probably.
well. Guy's insane.
Christian
Literally an
McCaffrey, you
offensive
literally
weapon.
could put him. Yeah, you could put him at defensive back, and he'd probably be amazing.
Guy's wild. But yes, so we definitely agree.
Mm-hmm.
McCaffrey number one. I think the second is pretty obvious, but other than that, I feel like there's a lot of debate that can be had. But for number two, I had Derrick Henry.
Oh, I don't have Derrick Henry anymore. I think he's too old. I think he's kind of donezo.
So I would agree with you in some capacity, but he's going to a new team, which I'm excited because I think it could revive.
Yeah, I think it'll
a
help
bit.
for sure.
That's where I was like, I think he could still be number two. That's where I was thinking.
I have Josh Jacobs. He led the league in offensive, in rushing. He led the league in.
No, let me see.
Didn't he lead the league last year in rushing yards with like 1,600?
He could have. No, last year he only had 200 yards or 800 yards.
Was that last year?
Yes.
Oh, maybe
it was 2022. He led.
Oh, yes. So I was a little off.
Yes.
Well, then I probably wouldn't put him at 2.
Yeah, Kellen doesn't know the NFL.
That's fine. I don't think I'd put Derrick Henry. I think I'll just jump my 3 back up and go Nick Chubb.
Yeah, that's why
I think Nick Chubb would be my number 2 then. I don't know why I thought Jacobs was good last year.
Very good. So the only thing with Nick Chubb is I'm pretty sure he got hurt.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah,
he was up and down.
He would have had 1,000 yards.
Yeah.
This guy, let me just read his. This is insane. 2018, he had 996 yards, so 1,000 yards. 2019, 1494. 2020, 1,067. 21, 1,259. 2022, 1,525, and then 170 last year.
He's ridiculous.
But insane. That guy's been, 12 touchdowns, 8 touchdowns, 12 touchdowns, 8 touchdowns, 8 touchdowns. Guy's averaging 10 plus touchdowns a year. Obviously, last year.
Yeah, he's going to be very good. That was
kind of tough.
He's always going to be good.
Yes, he is a top 5 running back in any list.
I would agree.
So yes, and then 4 and 5, I think you could have a lot of different names. I think I didn't, but I think Kenneth Walker could be in a conversation.
I don't think
He's been really good. I don't think he made the list yet. I know Austin Eckler has kind of been a little bit around there. Don't think he's there yet either. But I still think that this guy next should be number 4. But I had Saquon Barkley.
I think he will be better.
I think moving to the
next year, huge. But I don't think he's up there yet. I think I have Jonathan Taylor for my third. Then I guess since I'm moving everyone up, I'm just moving everyone up a spot. I think Jonathan Taylor is much better. I don't think Saquon's a top 5 running back right now because of his injury problems.
That's fair.
I think when he's healthy, he's kind of reminds me of like Adrian Peterson. Like Adrian Peterson, obviously, like his first 5 years, unreal. After that, it was like, yeah, you're still a really good running back, but you're also on the bench every week. Yeah. I have Jonathan Taylor. I think he's just so underrated. I think he's very versatile. He reminds me of kind of like a McCaffrey where he can get out and catch. Obviously, not even close to as good, but he is a much better player. I think he also has the potential to be injured a lot, which is not great. But I think he.
So you have McCaffrey.
Yeah, this is my weird one where I actually have Bryce Hall for the Jets. He was very, very good. Obviously, he's coming back from his injury as well. When he came back, because I think he was from an ACL.
Yeah, he played like half the year in 2022 and then had a pretty solid year last
year. Yeah, and I think with having Aaron Rodgers back, it just bumps him up even better. I think he is a top 5 running back. He's so explosive. He's very, very hard to tackle. I don't know if the stat was correct when I read it, but I think he had the most yards after contact last year. And it was more, but they have too many stats. I kind of said this in baseball. Yeah. It's called like the elusiveness. And I'm like, okay, but what is that? Like, how do you define elusive? Like, is that when you get touched and you're juking? I don't know. So I kind of disagree with that, how that statement works. But I think he's going to be very, very good next year. I think that offensive line just got better through the draft. So that's what I had it for.
All right, who's your
fifth? Fifth, I kind of have to go off my head, but I'm going to go Bijan Robinson.
Yes. So this is where I think he's going to get a lot better.
Well, I think he's going to get a lot better because his quarterback actually knows how to quarterback. His quarterback knows how to quarterback.
The guy had almost 1,000 yards and almost 500 yards.
And hardly touched the ball.
And Desmond Ridder.
Yeah.
Holy moly. So, I mean, say what you want about Kirk Cousins.
Yeah, what do you have, like 970 yards
But
last year too?
yeah,
And he
like
was
the guy, like even if Kirk Cousins is average, that's going to do so much for that
mm-hmm.
offense.
Yeah.
It's because it's going to open up holes for Robinson. He's going to,
Yeah.
I mean, he's going to draw attention in other places. He's still going to catch just as many passes as he did now. He's going to open up
Yep.
more holes to run into.
Yeah, and I think the interesting only problem that I had like as a downfall possibly for him is that it is only his second year,
Yeah,
first off. And then second off, like I say with any rookie, teams will figure him out. They have film on him. They know what he does. So it'll be hard to see him and see what he can adjust. But
I hope he gets better.
I think he'll be very, very good. But yeah, that's kind of who I had since I guess I had Josh Jacobs off by one.
So finalists, mine was Christian McCaffrey, Derrick Henry, Nick Chubb, Saquon Barkley, and Bijan Robinson.
Mine would have been McCaffrey, Chubb, Taylor, Hall, and Robinson.
You're wild. Didn't even have Henry on the list.
Henry's very, very good, but he's kind of like he's just the last couple years he's been fine, but he's not doing enough. And I know that his team's not great. Yeah, that's what I mean. But it's also like, to me, you look at it and you have to go, okay, well, who is he?
Dude, okay. The guy has, so from 2018 on, he had 1,059, 1,540, 2,027, wild.
Yeah, he's
937, 1,538, and 11.
I'm not saying he's bad. I'm just saying I'm not saying he's not good. I'm looking at it in the fact that as a player, he did not do anything to help his team. And I know that he's
12 rushing touchdowns.
I know, and they didn't win any games from it. And I get that.
They don't have a quarterback.
Ryan Tannehill is a very fine quarterback. He's a middle of the road quarterback.
Okay, who are they going to throw
to? That's my problem. And I'm not saying it's his fault. I'm just saying he is on the default downfall, and I don't think he's a top 5 running back in the. Well, that's fine. I hope I do. Thanks for listening to the Kind of Athletic podcast. Be sure to follow us on all of our socials and come back next week for next week's episodes.